Hello everyone, over here I present you all the Range Rover Sport SV. Now the philosophy of the SV Range Rover Sport would be to pick a fight with the likes of the BMW X5, the Audi SQ7, well SQ7. Initially I had some thoughts about the Mercedes Brabus models, but Brabus is a bit higher spec, so let's just say something along the lines of Mercedes AMG line, if you know what I'm saying. It's meant to be a performance version of the Range Rover Sport, much like the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. The Range Rover Sport was always an interesting alternative to the German competitors, which are just too good sometimes. The BMW X5 remains a very good choice if you're looking for a wonderful, detailed infotainment system and driving pleasure. The Mercedes GLE remains a good choice if you are looking for status. The Audi Q7 remains my favorite because I simply like the design and how it's a combination between technology and comfort. Now when it comes to the Range Rover brand and the Jaguar Land Rover overall, they've had a reputation for having status on their side compared to other premium competitors. But when it came to technology, they just never were the best, or they were always late compared to their German competitors. Now, Range Rovers, they look more expensive than the German competitors. They boast more status. The question is, does this Range Rover Sport SV have what it takes to pick a fight with the BMW MX5 or the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk? We're gonna find out right now. Now when it comes to the Range Rover Sport SV, first thing to note would be that the exterior has a more sporty effect to it. It's like as if someone glued the body of a Range Rover to the chassis of a sports car. So the wheels, they obviously look more sporty. They have a strong sign of identity. They kind of remind me of Range Rovers from the 2000s. The Range Rover Sport in particular, my apologies. But otherwise, you get a touch of carbon fiber on the bumper. The bumpers, they look visually sporty. And touch of carbon fiber onto the bonnet. You get this effect over here. But what I find actually cute but a bit unnecessary is the fact that the Range Rover letters over here are written in carbon fiber. It's good, but at the same time I find it a bit unnecessary. 360-degree parking cameras with parking sensors at the front, at the rear, keyless entry and pop-out door handles. Now, I'm not a fan of the pop-out door handle idea, if I'm being honest, but then to be fair, modernization was essential. Now, when it comes to the exterior of this Range Rover Sport, I see already a little problem. Why do you need to have this over here? It's a nice mud flap, nice to protect the bodywork, but from certain angles it just looks a bit odd. There's a vent over here that has no purpose, but you do get actual exhausts with a carbon fiber touch. Now over to the interior of the Range Rover Sport SV. So my first impression, let's see. It does have the soft close. That's very good, given that this is 220,000 euros. Now, don't take whatever I just said literally, because I'm not sure. It is around 220,000 euros. So perhaps slightly more, perhaps slightly less, give or take. But what's very important is the presentation of this interior. So first of all, the steering wheel is very good. I like the feel of it. Reminds me of my experience with Volkswagen Group cars, actually. It's very good. Not too thick compared to what Mercedes offers on their AMG models and what BMW offers on their M models. The wheel is good. You get driving pallets over here, which have an interesting style to them. Now, over here, when it comes to the infotainment system, they're a bit behind the German competitors. So, and that applies to technology in particular. For some reason, they put the start-stop button right over here between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, which I find odd, if I'm being honest, but well, I mean, it is of selective taste. Otherwise, the exterior visibility is good. I like how you see the proud bonnet from the driver's seat. That is decent. And then overall the feel is good. I like the presentation of the trim. I like how you get this dark red brownish trim with the black leather as well. The seating adjustment is onto the door, which historically was always a Mercedes aspect, and I'm still wondering why did Range Rover go down this path. But then to be fair, it is fine. Now, overall impression, you do get a nice cool box over here. You get a little center console storage with a cool box. That's good. 2 cup holders over here, which are adjustable. This is the area I like about the Range Rover models. They're very flexible with their storage solutions. That's very good. And you even get double storage solutions over here, just like you have on the normal Range Rover Sport and the Range Rover itself. Very, very good. I'm impressed. And a panoramic sunroof as well. It is showing night mode because we are indoors. But let's try and see what happens if I off the lights. Well, what matters is the details. So I like looking at if there's a hills or something. Now the angle of this infotainment system is such as if it's a tablet that's lying down, you see. Whereas other manufacturers, they've put the infotainment system over here that makes it visible for the driver. They can pay attention to the infotainment system and at the same time not get distracted so they can see the road ahead. Don't prioritize practicality. I mean, at least don't expect it, because when you're getting a Range Rover Sport SV or when you're getting a BMW MX5, you're looking at the performance. First thing to note, no backseat pockets, but you get this huge bit of carbon fiber right here. This is awesome. Now it's time to climb in to see what it's like in terms of comfort. Okay, all right. Now I'm just gonna let you all know, when it comes to comfort, I'm a fan of the Range Rover. Well, if we're talking ultra luxury segment, I feel like it's a tie between Bentley Bentayga and the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, or the Maybach GLS, Maybach Mercedes GLS, maybe that. Anyways, back to topic. So a lot of legroom, but already one little problem I just noticed is that you see, despite the price tag of more than 200,000 euros, you get those proud railings for the seating adjustment of the front seat passengers. So just watch out for those railings. Other than that, legroom is good, knee room is good, and the headroom is decent. And I get this handle right over here with the air vents right here, another set of air vents down there, and detailed climate control. Now, let's check this out. Armrest. Oh, this is a pleasant surprise, because believe it or not, there's some German competitors that love shaming you for missing out on one option. Here, you do get a lot of goodies. Oh, this is a pleasant surprise. Wow, this is good. Wow, this is a pleasant surprise indeed. So here's my conclusion of the Range Rover Sport SV. The Range Rover Sport SV is a very, very interesting competitor and a good alternative to the German competitors like the BMW MX5 and the Audi SQ7. Now, when it comes to the Range Rover Sport, I have mixed feelings about the model itself. I was always a fan of the big Range Rover. But when it comes to the Sport SV, this is where things get very interesting. Me personally, I have mixed views about it. It looks like someone just glued a Range Rover to the chassis of a sports car. At least that seems to be the point. And the engine is also high performance. For a price of 228,000 euros, that's right, it costs 228,000 euros. Earlier I wasn't actually certain about the price, but I remember it was around that. Me personally, when it comes to SUVs with performance, I prefer the Bentley Bentayga, or I prefer something like an Audi SQ7. That seems to make more sense, at least in my opinion. Or if we're talking performance, I actually forgot to mention the Porsche Cayenne. The Porsche Cayenne is also another good example. But if you really also wanted a good infotainment system, I feel like BMW and Mercedes still take the trophy. The Range Rover Sport SV is an interesting choice, an interesting competitor. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. I will see you all next time.